So I watched Mr. Piers Morgan's show again, and I agree with his most of the ethical and moral values, but his guest selection, this is my third time I'm trying to come over and uh, talk about the guest selections he has. But of course, he has to go with the wind. He has to go with the populist motion going on at the moment. So definitely, he's going to go with the popular ones. So he invited Mr. phony TikToker uh, Captain Steeve to talk about LaGuardia incident. And again, because Mr. Steeve, I don't know why he has millions of hits on his videos, but actually he is not even an aviation expert. And I will prove it in a moment. That this person is just a reader, just like anyone else. Some readers are good, some readers are bad, but he changes his opinions more than I change my underwears, okay, about the similar incidents. So he was asked a question, and he came up with the heroic efforts of the pilots. Although I have already made my video with only 4 views. One of them is my own, so 3 views. Thank you for those 3 people who have watched. And I will keep pointing fingers at YouTube for not promoting my videos at all. I do all my SEOs, and my description is written nicely, my keywords, but YouTube doesn't promote the videos because I am in a lot of things which are not against the YouTube policy, but the narrative they want to build. So it doesn't matter. I don't care. Even the 3 viewers, my loves to you. So, Mr. Steeve, Captain Steeve, the phony TikToker, that was the call sign given to him by an Indian captain of the Indian airliner after the fatal incident of the Indian Flight 171. And after that, the way he changed his opinions and did a lot of things which are against the aviational ethics and morals. So he pointed them out and he just called him a TikToker. And since then, I also call him a TikToker. I have unsubscribed him. And the only reason is that he has no expert opinion on anything. Now, let's come to this one. Now, what he says. When he was asked a question by Piers Morgan that 6 seconds prior to the incident, the controls were given to the captain.
The cockpit voice recording shows that the control of the aircraft was transferred from the first officer to the captain just 6 seconds before the crash. And people are wondering why that happened. Why did it happen then? Is there anything unusual in your experience about that part of this?
No, he answered.
The fact that it took place 2 seconds after touchdown indicates to me that the captain saw the truck out ahead and took over, commandeered control of the aircraft by slamming on the brakes.
My video is already there, and I have given a pilot's point of view that 6 to 8 seconds are never enough. On this kind of landing, once you're already flared out, even performing a go-round would be merely impossible because the spooling time of the engines, once you get the power in, the gears would still be out, and you won't be able to perform the go-around in or out 6 to 8 seconds it would have taken you. So what would have happened if they had performed the go-around as according to this idiot at the time when the captain took the controls, or even he said 10 seconds or 12 seconds prior to the contact?
Well, it would have been the last line of defense. So the last line is that alert that's going to go into the controller's ear that says there's an impending conflict, and maybe the controller would have seen it prior to that 9 seconds. Maybe if they'd had 12 seconds or 15 seconds of warning, they could have hit the go-around buttons and avoided and flown over the truck instead of having to land on the runway and smash into the truck.
What would have happened? The aircraft nose will be up, but there won't be enough lift because this was at about 100 miles. So for takeoff, it needs 140 knots. So to come up from 100 to 140 knots in engines who have spooled down, spooling up, it would have taken them at least 8 seconds. So even 12 to 15 seconds, 15 seconds, let's say. And you're coming down, these 8 seconds for engines to take the power back again would take you 7 seconds to the what you call impact, and then because your gears would be down, so once your nose starts to lift up, what would have happened? Your gears would have touched this truck, and boom, nose down, and a bigger catastrophe would have happened because of this bigger impact, and more surface area of the aircraft would have touched the ground, and there would have been more casualties. So don't listen to this idiot. The go-around, the main thing was the ADC guy should have given the go-around once he dispatched the trucks, because he was the only one who knew about all the timings, and he knows where the fire station is. He knows how long it's going to take for these fire trucks to reach to this cross-sectional Delta 4 taxiway. So he should have given go-rounds to all the 2 pilots, and then nothing would have happened, because emergency is the first priority, and the pilot had already declared emergency of the United Airs that there are fumes in the in the fuselage, and that could be carbon monoxide. It takes like 30 seconds for you. If you inhale it, you're down. It could be anything. So worst comes worst, you had to give the emergency first priority and let the aircrafts go around, let the fire trucks reach to their place, and then get the other landings done. But again, I'm not here to blame anyone. The thing is, I'm talking about this hypocrite, Mr. Captain Steeve TikToker. So again, no, there was no way that these pilots would have performed a go-around at even 15 seconds prior to this coming in, landing with all the passengers in and coming in. No. Second thing, Mr. TikToker says that, they did a heroic effort and they did not steer the aircraft to left and right.
One of the really heroic parts about this is that the captain could have veered the airplane to the left or the right to avoid harm for them up in the cockpit. He did not. He kept the airplane straight, and the airplane impacted at a 90-degree angle that truck. If he had veered left or right, the wings would have hit the truck, and all that fuel in the wings would have ignited. As you notice in this accident, there's no fireball at the end. And that's due to the actions of the pilots. The pilots sacrificed themselves to save everybody else behind them.
Well, that is idiocracy, okay? They should have done that. Why they should have done that? Okay, why didn't they do that? Again, lack of training. They were 30 and 32 years of age respectively. I don't think so. They were much experienced, and especially airline pilots are not trained for emergencies. Like Mr. TikToker said that, every year we spend 12 hours in a simulator, not real time, okay? And you can die many times as you want. But, I mean, it's a simulator. And someone whispers in behind your ear, oh, there's a truck on the runway. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm push the button.
However, I'll say this. In our simulator training every 12 months, you're in the simulator for 2 or 3 days, about 12 hours of simulator training altogether, and eventually they will throw in one of those types of scenarios. You've been cleared to land, you're at about 100 feet off the runway, and the simulator instructor sitting behind you will just whisper, a truck just drove on the runway. And that's your cue to hit the buttons and go around.
There's no pushing button go around thing. It's all, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that. This guy even doesn't know how to perform a go around on an aircraft. Not by pushing a button and the aircraft does everything by itself. No, bro. So what he says that they didn't steer left and right, and they were very heroes. I mean, they're dead now, so I can't say anything about them. They were choked, frozen. Once you get into that kind of situation, it happens to many people. Most of the accidents in any form of vehicles happen because of a person choking or freezing. So the pilot definitely choked. And he believed that he would be able to stop the aircraft, but the basic information he forgot that it was misty. It just rained. The runway had water on it, and if there's a thick layer of water on the runway, what happens that because of the compression, this water becomes just like the ice skating ring. The aircraft is going to skid on that one. The brakes are not going to work that efficiently. Definitely, once the water levels on a runway are that higher, they declare an emergency and then stop that runway to be used. So it was not that bad, but still, it would not have stopped as it would have stopped without the rain. So, but he tried to stop it, and passengers confirmed that they could feel that the plane was stopping quicker than normally, that is, once it touched down, and the anti-reverse thrust things kick out. So it takes a little bit of time, but they felt. So again, I give full credit to the pilots. There were no heroes or of any kind. They couldn't have done anything. They choked, they froze, and that's why they hit. Now, the next thing, what he says that if he would have steered left or right, that would have been more catastrophic. Now listen to his own video about the similar kind of incident, CRJ the 900 in Toronto on landing that got, flipped over and one wing got detached. Now, here's 3 videos of that. I don't watch his videos. I just go because now YouTube has a diamond sign right next to it, Google Gemini, and you can ask what this AO is talking about in the video. So I just checked on that one. In video 3, which after the report, he says, because of the G-forces. Now, I don't know what kind of G-forces were on the runway. A G-force is going against the gravity while you are in the air, on the ground, while landing. I don't know. This guy comes up with that one. Before that, one video before that, he tells that the wing got detached. And he says, it's a function in CRJ 900 jet that the wings gets detached. And in order to, support his argument in video 1, he says that it was a good thing that wing got detached. Now, once the wing is detached from the fuselage, the fuel tanks are going to go away. And because of the fuselage speed, the wing are going to get far behind, and there won't be the fireball won't come into the passengers, and they would be saved. And that's why they were saved. 80 passengers saved, and the pilots too.
What we're looking at right here is the right wing is actually detached from the airplane. This is going to turn out to be actually a good thing for the survivability of the passengers on board. Why? Because all that fuel is contained in that wing, and that fireball is going to go back with the wing and not with the fuselage. The fire is not completely out in the fuselage, but it's not nearly as bad as it could have been.
This is his words in that video. And see what he's saying in this one, in Piers Morgan's show, that guess what happened more catastrophic.
If he had veered left or right, the wings would have hit the truck, and all that fuel in the wings would have ignited. As you notice in this accident, there's no fireball at the end. And that's due to the actions of the pilots. The pilots sacrificed themselves to save everybody else behind them.
Now you tell me what to make out of this. So this person is not an aviation expert. He's just a reader. He just, I think, goes for ChatGPT and asks for the script and puts the teleprompter in front of him and starts reading these things out, and then gets millions of hits. And here's a guy who actually gives the pilot's point of view and everything and just gets 4 hits. But, my extracurricular activity that YouTube doesn't restrict my reach, and I don't care. But I will keep on exposing these kind of idiots, aviation hazards, and most of the American pilots are aviation hazards. All these systems were introduced into this world, this computerized machine and everything. It's because of the American pilots. They can't do multitasking. Look at the ADC guy. He just had to deal with what? 1 emergency, 2 landings, 3 landings, and 1 truck passing by the runway, and how he ended up. When I was in Pakistan Air Force, we used to have 20 aircrafts touching down, going away in because they were smaller aircraft, so the distance between them was even less than 1 minute. Could be 30 seconds, 45 seconds at most, 1 minute at most, we could say. And yet we never had any runway incursions, at least in my career. And I've never heard about that one throughout my career and after that. So again, because these people are not multitaskers, you give them a second task and voila, they would have three opinions. One opinion about one task, task number one, second opinion about task number two, third opinion about both the tasks. And how to confuse a TikToker of Captain like Captain Steven? The answer is 7. Confused? Exactly. So get rid of these guys, man. Use Grok, use Google Gemini, use ChatGPT to at least you can question something and you will get the answers from them. But this was not heroic efforts. And again, my heart goes out for the pilots. And Canada should do something about their bombardiers because this is the second CRJ 900. One was collided with a military helicopter, and it was all the military helicopter's fault. And they attacked Bombardier CRJ 900. And this is the second one. Intentionally, it was being hit. Okay, allegedly. So anyhow, these are my 2 cents about Mr. Captain TikToker Steve. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.